What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the CFL podcast, where today, as promised, right, Mr. Donald Turley is in the building, right? Linebacker slash defensive lineman for Jackson State. A lot of y'all have been asking about him, and now here he is. So, would y'all please do me, even though y'all can't clap, but do it in your living room or something? Mr. Donald Turley, man, welcome to the podcast, my boy.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, so this has been a long time in the making, right? A lot of people want to know about you. They heard about they heard about you being a Marine, and now you're at Jackson State. So a lot of people were intrigued, right? Because they want to know your backstory. They want to, just see what kind of personality you got. So I had to get you on the show. Now we gonna start off with, just a couple icebreakers just to break the tension. One gotta go. Since you're a linebacker, right? This is the linebacker edition. Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis, Teddy Bruschi, or DeMarcus Ware?
I'm gonna have to go with Teddy. Yeah.
You go with Teddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Teddy. Just Urlacher, Lewis, and DeMarcus Ware. Just what they've accomplished. I'm not taking anything away from Teddy either, but it's just my preferred favorites, I guess.
So, would you say their play styles is just something that you like more, or you can relate to more than Bruschi's?
Yeah, especially like Urlacher and Lewis, like just their leadership mentality, like the way they literally took control of the game, took control of the defenses. You just look at them and the way their foundation was pretty much based around them. And I wouldn't say their defense wouldn't be where they were without them, but they had a huge, significant importance.
Okay, so I like the answer. I get it. I agree, actually. Next question. Would you rather make a clutch sack, or would you rather make a clutch goal line stop?
I'd go with the goal line stop. I mean, my boy B Hop last year did it against Southern, and right there before the second half, and I mean that was just a game changer. So versus a clutch sack, like I don't know, you got all moving pieces, goal line stop, like they're that close to the end zone. Where the sack, it's just like, yeah, it could just be a sack 20 yards away from the end zone. I'd rather hit the goal line.
Before I get to the next question, right? There are a few fans who've given you the nickname Captain America. First of all, did you already have that nickname and they're just repeating it, or is that new? And second question, do you like it? Like, is that something that can stick?
That's new. Captain America, like I wear it with pride, even though like Captain America is more Army, but and like me being from the Marine Corps, but yeah, no, it's something I haven't heard until here recently, and then I've also been told I look like Thor, so whatever. I like the superheroes. We'll roll with it.
All right, cool. All right, so I want to know, in your opinion, what's the most inspirational sports movie?
Most inspirational sports movie.
It could be any sport, right? Some people say it's Mighty Ducks. Other people say it's Friday Night Lights. Like, what's your pick?
I would have to either go with Friday Night Lights or Remember the Titans. Yeah,
that's a good pick.
Yeah,
Remember the Titans is a good pick for sure. So getting into you a little bit, right? I want to know your mindset a little bit. If you couldn't play linebacker, if that just wasn't an option, what other position would you play?
Defensive end. I mean, like right now, or just like mentally anywhere.
Just anywhere. If you had the choice.
I'd probably go back to my roots at strong safety. High school. That's where I dominated, I guess you could say. There, my senior year, it was just, I don't know, being able to drop back and like see the whole field, see the whole play develop, and then either come up, be that run support, or drop back for the pass. It's kind of like that last line of defense. If you don't catch them, you don't stop the ball, then like you're the last line of defense.
So you're really just a defensive minded guy. Like that's just who you are at heart.
Yeah, defense wins championships. Offense sells tickets. Firm believer.
And you know what? We're gonna talk about that later. But that statement probably isn't more applied to any other team but Jackson State this year, right? Like
Oh, for sure.
the offense, man, it's we gonna get to that later. So when I did some research on you, right, I found out that in high school you were a receiver and safety. And
Yep.
I was just like, oh man, like you was like 6'2", 155. Like that was a big a lot has changed since then, right? But I want to know how good were you at wide receiver and DB? Like just how good were you your senior year?
Um, DB, I would say that was my bread and butter. Like I was up there. I got in trouble my senior year. So there's like some, I wouldn't say uh, bad blood. I was probably one of the best DBs in our conference for sure. And then I won like headhunter of the year. I led the team in tackles. Uh, like yeah, I was pretty good my senior year.
And after the senior season was over with, was it your goal to go to college football and then you decided on the Marines, or was that always which one came first?
Like I said, I was a little undersized, being 155 pounds. So I wasn't getting recruited as highly as I thought I should. And like it comes with being a little not being humble about my situation. Like I should have taken like D2, D3. The biggest D1 officer was like Eastern Kentucky, and I thought I was better than that, and then ended up just joining the Marine Corps because I'd always wanted to join the Marine Corps. Growing up, hearing stories from family, Marines being the best, most I don't know if I can badass, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
And yeah, so just wanted to try my luck there and see how that went. And I had a pretty successful Marine Corps.
You know, when the recruiters speak to you about joining the Marines, is it like in the movies where they're like, "Oh, you're going to be a part of the most badass group of people on the face of the earth. Like you're going to jump off of buildings and blah blah blah." Is it like that, or are they like real to you?
No, they kind of sell it a little, but I mean, it's not too far from it. I also talked to prior service Marines, like I said, that were either family friends or part of the family, and like they kind of gave me like the real down and dirty. I had cousins who were like in the heat of like Ramadi and Marja and stuff like that, and the initial invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan, and like they kind of gave me like the down and dirty of like what it really was and whatnot. And so I kind of knew what I was getting into before going in, just off of that background and whatnot.
Now, getting into more of your time served, when I watched the interview with the pregame show, shout out to the pregame show, you were listing places that you've been, like you've been to Hawaii, Korea, and that's just like some of the places I couldn't even remember at all. Like, tell me about your time there. Like, how was it?
So yeah, my first duty station was Hawaii, Kaneohe Bay. I mean, couldn't pick a worse duty station than to be out in Hawaii. I was there for like my first 5.5 years. And then from there, we did unit deployment programs where we jumped around all over the Pacific, going to Japan, being like the push out place. And then, yeah, we'd push out to Korea, uh, Guam, Philippines, New Caledonia, uh, PYDO. Yeah, we just kind of got shotgunned everywhere, and then went to Camp Pendleton, California, and from there I was at a schoolhouse teaching non-infantry personnel infantry tactics, and then from there went to another Victor unit, another infantry unit, and on this last one, we went to Korea, and then we had guys push out to Syria and Iraq as well.
Now, it's interesting that you mentioned all these places. I do wonder, how good are you with the language, right? Like, have you picked up some Korean while you were in Korea? Can you speak a little Samoan? Like, how good are you? Uh,
Sumimasen, annyeonghaseyo. That's Korean. It's like hello, goodbye. I think. I'm not 100%. Like it's been a minute since I've had to be around that, but not a lot, just enough to get by, I guess you could say.
Mhm. Now, with Korea, right? Because I just recently had Korean barbecue. That's why I was interested that you brought up Korea. How's the food to you, like in your opinion? Because like I tried it, I wasn't really the biggest fan, but like you've been there for a little while. So how's the food to you?
So I'm pretty plain eater, plain kind of picky. I guess you could say I like my stuff dry and but I like spicy food too. So it just depends on like how it's cooked and whatnot. But I do like their Korean chicken or Korean barbecue, beef, bulgogi. I like it. Can't go wrong with meat, really.
Now, you've been served. First of all, thank you for your service. I didn't even say that at the beginning. Thank you so much for your service.
Okay.
Um, During your time when you were servicing, after when you look back on it, are there lessons that you've learned during your time as a Marine member that you could apply to football now?
Yeah. I mean, just the discipline aspect because kind of going back in high school, I was 155 pounds, and that was mostly because I wasn't taking the time or effort to practice that discipline and put myself in the gym to get bigger, stronger, faster. And then once I got in the Marine Corps, it's like the job's so physically demanding. I had to, in order to compete and be at the top of my game, especially in the Marine Corps, was to make myself better. So fell in love with the gym, and just got big. Just working out every day, never taking breaks, never really taking off, and then running. That was majority of that training was just endurance. Whereas like here in football, it's all like speed, and getting from point A to B as fast as you can. But definitely the Marine Corps pushed that discipline that you have to have physically and mentally because there'd be times where we're doing a 20K hike and with 120 pounds on your back and
Good Lord.
it's not fun, but mentally you got to take yourself somewhere else. That way you're not thinking about the pain. You're not thinking about your heels, feet being rubbed raw, your back breaking because you're carrying a crew serve weapon. Because I'm a 03 41 infantry mortarman, so we weapons MOSs we tend to carry the most weight when it comes to hiking because we got to carry our not only our personal weapon but the crew serve weapon as well. So we take pride in.
And that brings me to my next question, right? Because you're in such shape by Marine standards, does it make college football workouts like a breeze for you? Because, like you said, like you did a 20K, a 20K mile hike or something like that with 100 something pounds on your back. That like doesn't make college training a breeze. That's what I want to know.
I would say yes and no. Yes, to the point like mentally, like I know like hey, just keep pushing, keep pushing. Whereas like physically, like I said, it's more about speed. Like we're constantly doing sprints. We're constantly next play, next play, next play. That tempo stuff. Like it's a different kind of physicality, not just like being physical, but like running wise. Whereas like you can train yourself a lot faster and easier with running distance. Like the more distance you run, if you're running 12 miles every day, running for longer periods of time becomes easier. Whereas like here we're sprinting 24/7. It's not really like we're running 3, 4, 5 miles a day. But in turn, like you end up running 3, 4, 5 miles just sprints. So
Mhm. So when other kids who are alongside of you, because they maybe don't have the mindset that the Marines taught you, where you just got to keep going. Like maybe they don't have that certain strength you do mentally yet. Do you ever stop and be like, "Hey, man, just keep going"? Like, do you ever try to encourage them, try to big brother them a little bit, the younger guys on the team, when y'all are going through those conditioning drills and they're just trying to get through it?
yeah, we can't. We I wouldn't say we have a problem. We do not have a problem with like um, making sure everybody stays like headstrong and whatnot. But sometimes like somebody like we were doing mat drills and like we'll yell over to somebody who's like bending over, telling them to get up and whatnot, just like don't show weakness and whatnot. So uh, we do hold each other accountable, but for the most part, we are all in shape and we're all uh, head driven to keep going forward.
And has anybody on the team come to you for like advice when it comes to working out? Because like who would be a better option?
Yeah, guys have came to me about working out and whatnot. So this off season, right before spring ball started up, myself and Aubrey Miller, we were working out with Semi um, because he had just got it just. I'm pretty sure it came off an injury, so he was trying to get back into it. So we were working out with him for like the first 2-3 weeks, and then guys come up to me asking like, "What do they do to get bigger?" Blah blah blah. So I just give them my little bit of advice, whatever I can, and then we have our own strength and conditioning coaches that they do a good job.
And that's because Aubrey's jacked. Like Aubrey, like y'all too, like y'all are jacked. So it's like to picture both of you guys in the weight room, that got to be an intimidating presence right there. That's all I'm saying. But because you work out the way you do, I'm so interested in knowing this answer to this next question. Because I've been on your Instagram, so I seen you. What's your maxes, bro? Bench.
Uh,
What's your maxes? I gotta know.
right now or like here recently?
The most recent.
Okay, so I have a shoulder problem right now. It's like a shoulder impingement, so I can't really do bench.
Mhm.
But when we did our max, they only let us go up to like 500 on squat. So and then like it was like a week or week and a half later, I hit 550 just by myself. Just
Good Lord.
chilling. I hit 550. I think Nugget was with me in the weight room, and I got 50 2 or 3 times. So
Oh my God, bro. And because strength is such a big part of your game, do you feel like it's your biggest attribute, like for when you step on the field, like your strength?
um, I don't feel like I've been manhandled, I guess you could say, or like been physically dominated. So I think that would hold part of that accountable. And then I think just uh, like my mind for the game has kind of helped me stay kind of like ahead of the play and whatnot.
So you get out of the Marines, you're weighing schools, you're weighing options. Uh, Surely it was more to Jackson State that probably was in your repertoire when you was trying to decide where to go. What other schools were you considering?
Big one was University of South Florida and Arkansas, and then a couple smaller schools. And then I was also thinking about going the JUCO route just to get a little more film under my belt, see what else I could have cured over that time. But I felt whenever came to visit and talking to Coach Hart and whatnot, felt like Jackson State was the best fit. And here I am.
So did they like give you a certain pitch? Like what was the pitch? Like I always ask players, they're so modest about it, but what's the pitch when they're trying to get you to come to Jackson State?
I just want to be a part of history. So it's like uh, going to like a big Power Five school. Like, yeah, that's a dream everybody has, but then there's also the building your own legacy, building your own history, leaving your mark. Um, why why not be a part of a change kind of aspect? So then a white guy going to a HBCU. I mean, I guess that alone kind of shows the world where I stand. So
And certainly I can imagine it's that much more easier when Deion Sanders is the head coach, legend Deion Sanders. When you first got to meet Coach Prime, like how was that interaction?
at first, I didn't even know Coach Prime was the head coach.
Really?
Yeah, so talking to Coach Hart, and then he was like, this is HBCU, right? And I was like, yeah. And then Coach Prime got brought up, and then I was just like, well, that kind of makes it a little easier, I guess, thinking about it, because
Mhm.
why not want to play for a legend? And then yeah, meeting him for the first time. It's actually funny because when I was visiting, there was somebody there doing like some media coverage for him, and uh, I like got to shake Coach Prime's hand and whatnot, introduce myself, and then Coach Prime was like, "Hey, tell a little bit more about yourself" to him, and so I told him basically who I was and whatnot, and then he ended up being in the Army. He was like Army Intel coordination officer or something like that. And me and him, we just got to talking, and so we started talking like military lingo. And then Coach Prime was like, "Look at that! They haven't even been talking for like 2 minutes, and they're already spitting lingo at each other." So yeah, pretty
No,
cool.
that's dope, man. When you said the guy who was doing media coverage for him,
Yeah, I want to say he was doing an interview. I don't know exactly what it
Oscar,
was, but it was something with media. I know that. And then yeah, he was Army intelligence. So
it was off script. He has a YouTube channel.
that couldn't tell you.
He had braids. Do you remember how he looked?
No, I really
No,
can't.
okay. I felt like it was him because he was on campus during that time too. But I'll ask him after this. But just to get back to you, right? Your first day of college. You've been in the Marines for 8 years, and now you're a college student, right? Was that like a culture shock a little bit coming from the Marines, and you're at college, and it's like it's your first day? Like, what's going through your head? Take me through it. Like,
Yeah, so college, getting back into the swing of it. I haven't been in touch with like math, algebra. That was an eye opener. I was just like, this is a little out there. And then uh, something that kind of made it easier was I had a class with
mm,
Shiloh Sanders. So we had a little fun in that class. That made that kind of go by faster, easier. Um, it was a culture shock because you go from learning a craft that you try and like be as proficient as you possibly can, and trying to be the best that you possibly can, not just for you, but for your fellow Marines.
mm,
And then going to school, it's all about you, and you're not necessarily trying to perfect it. You're just trying to get the grade. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
like, all right, this is something I got to knock out, um, and then obviously get your degree. But yeah, it was a eye opener, especially with algebra.
I can imagine being away from it so soon. It's kind of like hard to just jump back into it and get focused, and and then math has changed over the years. Like, I can imagine, bro. So we talked about the other schools you were considering. Um, was there anything that really stuck out about Jackson State though? Like, what was the moment where you realized, yeah, this is where I'm going? Like, what was it for you?
Uh, Honestly, it was just sitting down, just collecting all my thoughts, kind of, and I just kind of got into my head like, hey, I want to be a part of history, be a part of something different. And I'd like nothing
Like,
really.
it's nothing flashy. Like,
Yeah, and I'm not a flashy person, so I
mm,
don't need like in the Marine Corps. We're used to having the worst gear or least amount of funding, like going to a field op or going out in the field,
mm.
uh, having some makeshift weight set, like using bricks, rocks for weights. Sometimes, like you do what you got to do, and something just manage with what you got. So, like it wasn't really flashy. Don't need it. So I kind of got used to that in the Marine Corps.
So you've been out of football well, at least in pads, right? Because maybe you played on the base. Wait, no. As a matter of fact, Sharp Sports reacted to your highlights, so you wasn't even out of football. You were still playing, and
Yeah.
I remember that. That definitely came to mind. So Sharp Sports reacted to your highlights, and you were just bowling over defenders. How many? I didn't even know there was a league for you guys to play in. Is there like a season and a playoffs and a championship? It's a whole league
Yep.
on with
Yeah.
Marine.
Depending on the year, it was like either like 8 to 10 teams in a league, and then you pretty much play everybody twice. Sorry, once maybe twice, depending on the schedule. And then yeah, we go into a playoffs, and yeah. So the first year I was in 2018 to 19, we won the championship. And then the following year, we went to the championship. We lost. We had guys who were in the field or out on field ops. We were missing like half our team, but it was still a good game. Yeah.
So, do you guys get good turnouts for those games? Like, people really did they come to watch? Like, it's entertaining.
Yeah, especially come playoff time, we would get a pretty decent turnout. And then the 2018 to 19, when we won the championship, we actually had Bill Cower come out with who was it? NBC Sports, I want to say, or CBS Sports, one of the two. And yeah, he came out and kind of like coached both teams like on certain days, and then was there for the championship game as well. So got to meet Bill Cower that way, and yeah, just
That's cool, actually. Do you guys get any like incentives for like when you like if you win the championship? Is there like a prize or something that you get?
So the Marine Corps Community Service (MCCS) they do like this point system where like units get a certain amount of points depending on like battalion level, company level, and whatnot. So you win points for your unit, and like at the end of the year, collectively, whatever unit had the most points gets the Commander's Cup.
And you know that it's crazy, right? Because Sharp Sports is like one of the biggest YouTube channels when it comes to like reacting to players. Like he only reacts to legit ballers, right? So if you found out when he did it, like what kind of did that do anything for you? Was it like, oh wow, like I'm getting noticed for it?
At first I was just like, this is awesome. And like he was saying like hopefully it helps with like the recruiting and whatnot, but like obviously no promises. But I know Coach Hart, he ended up seeing it. And then yeah, I mean I just that little bit of exposure, and then every time somebody kind of like talks to me and whatnot, they end up saying like, yeah, I watched your videos on Sharp Sports. So nice to see like something like that. Like it's crazy to see that I literally went from like nothing to all these views like that. Because if you look at my video that I posted, it only had like 400 views, and then his video went up in the thousands. So
that's crazy. So now that you're at Jackson State, you get to Jackson State. This is I would say it's not your first time putting on a badge, but you're with like a college team. Did you ever have a welcome to college football moment? And if so, what was it? But I want to know.
Welcome to college football moment.
Like how some rookies in the NFL they'll have a hey rookie welcome to the NFL kind of moment. Like something that's a little embarrassing story. Like maybe you got juked or ran over or you were late to a meeting. Like what was your welcome to college football moment?
So when I first got here in like June or July for summer camp 2, I just came off a broken foot surgery. So and like I was still like powerlifting, just like upper body and whatnot. So I really didn't have my legs under me, I guess you could say. And I hadn't been running in 7-8 months. Obviously I couldn't because due to the foot. And rehab and whatnot. But yeah, I got down here. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go into it, and we were doing these drills at the stadium, and I want to say it was like the girls basketball team or the girls soccer team, one of the two. I can't remember. And we were doing workouts together, and they were like intermixed with us, and
Uh,
like some of these girls were just running past me. I was just like, holy crap. I was just like, this is college football. I was like, okay, hi. That was kind of a wake up call, I guess you could say. But
mhm.
most of that was in my foot. Like it was weak. And then obviously I hadn't been running for 7 months or so. But yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the basketball team because I remember when that was shown on social media, and it's really no shame in that. Like Coach Tamika Reed does a great job with that basketball team. I mean, they almost upset LSU in the tournament.
Oh yeah.
To get yeah, no, they're legit. They're legit. So it's no shame in that at all. But
Yeah, had
obviously
it not been at
we did.
LSU, yeah, had that game not been at LSU, had it been like a neutral site or somewhere else, I think JSU wins that hands down.
Of
The crowd
course.
took over in those last 2 minutes, I guess you could say. So
And to be honest, they shouldn't have been that seed anyway. What were they, like 15? So
yeah,
yeah,
they should.
yeah, they definitely got hold with that one. Next question though, what is the relationship between you and your teammates? Like who do you spend the most time with? Is it your linebacking group? Is it the secondary? Like what's the relationship like?
So I guess it would be the linebackers. I mean, it's just we all kind of got the same mentality, same like headspace. So and then me and Aubrey, there in the off season, we were always working out together. And then me and JB, Jeremiah Brown,
Mm,
we've been going to the healthplex and whatnot to stay healthy, just with the physical demands of football and whatnot. And then I took Aubrey shooting just before spring ball started up. And then before that, me and KJ, we went shooting in the fall season. So it's just something like to spend time with them and like kind of one, teach them how to shoot guns because
mm,
most of them haven't shot guns, and like teach them proper like fundamentals and whatnot, and like gun safety, stuff like that. Just something that I can pass on, and then just being like that older brother because like Aubrey, he's a senior this year.
right.
He's like we were doing warm ups, and he just came up to me. He was just like, "Hey," he's like, "You know, you're the only person older than me on the team. You're the only person I can really like talk to or like look up to," and that meant a lot. Like, and it was just random too. He just came out of nowhere saying it, so that meant a lot.
Um, Speaking of the linebacking core, right? You guys have a very lofty expectation for next season. I mean, you think about how dominant the team was last year, and how great that defense was last year. Keontae, Aubrey, names like that, and now this year you're expected to be even more dominant with you, Aubrey coming back. You lose Keontae, but you pick up Jerionte Davis, and just names like that. Do you feel the pressure at all when it comes to continuing to carry the torch of what last year's defense was able to accomplish?
Like carrying the torch. I mean, Keontae is a baller.
Mm,
That kid, he's gonna be a dark horse in the draft. Like
mm.
whenever he gets picked up, I can't wait for that. But to fill his shoes, I mean, I guess you could say, yeah. I mean, it is unknown for us, but I think our linebacker room right now, from Aubrey, JB, B Hop, Durante, myself, like it's uh, Bobby, um, Dalen, and then we got a couple more coming in. It's just, I think we're all right there. It's just we gotta kind of let things develop, and just in time tells. But I definitely think the linebackers are the strongest group and will be the most headstrong and ready when the time comes.
And just speaking on the talent that you guys have, right? I mean, when you look at the DBs, you got Nugget on one side, number one JUCO prospect, most likely going to be drafted at the latest day two, the number one recruit in the country on the other side. You got Shiloh at safety. Your linebacking core, the defensive line. How excited and how dominant do you think you guys can be next season? Like, because I'm looking at it and I think to myself like these guys can really be even more shut down than last year.
I'm excited. I think we can definitely be a dominant defense, and like as long as everybody sticks to their job, because there's times where like people are trying to do other people's jobs, or there's just a miscommunication, which I think we're getting a lot of this out now here in the spring season. So I think our defense will be rocking next year.
And
Just like we will last year. I don't think we're going to be missing a strike.
so with the spring game being on national television, that's a big thing because the HBCU has never had that before. Are you excited about that? How excited are you to be on ESPN national television? A lot of people are going to be tuned in. So how's the nerves with that? Like, are you looking forward to it? Are you excited?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for the spring game. I mean, I don't really like cameras and all that. Like, I'm not a big flashy person, like I said, but it is exposure, and I'm glad that an HBCU is able to get that kind of streamlined. But yeah, I'm excited. Uh, Hopefully, I get the show out, see what I can do, and go from there.
Now, just get back to you a little bit, right? We know some of your strengths. Like one of your strengths is strength, right? We don't know all of them, but we know one of them. What is something that you need to work on with the game? What's one thing that you're still working on?
That I'm still working on is my flexibility. Last year, coming in, because I was so stiff just from years of powerlifting, and just that strain on my body, I was very stiff, and I wasn't moving as fast as I normally would. And then coming into this season, or coming into last season, like that was definitely one of my weaknesses, was my mobility and flexibility. So that was something that I've taken into account and gotten a lot better on, like a lot better. Coach Hart and the linebacker core, like they see it, moving way better, moving faster, and like getting across the field a lot better. So just still a little bit of tight hips, I guess you could say, but I'm working on it.
And your biggest strength as a player right now, what is it to you?
I would say football IQ. It's just not just football IQ, my mindset.
Mhm.
I don't really have any distractions. My mind is just on football. So it's if I'm not at football, in my playbook, watching huddle, watching film. Um, like my mindset's always football. I'm not out partying, not out doing anything. My leisure. I'm playing Madden, so it's like literally my life revolves around football, or um, in the weight room. So it's just my mindset.
No, I love
Strong.
it, and I agree with that to an extent because with Madden, I haven't bought Madden in a few years. I'm so tired of like they don't listen to what we want. I
Yeah.
just get so tired of Madden, man.
I think NCAA 14 is still better than any Madden we have today.
It is. It really is. I still own that game too. That's why I would rather play that than
I
Madden.
got NCAA 14 for my PlayStation 3. So
Mhm. And they're coming out with the new college football game. My biggest wish is that they just don't copy and paste it like from a Madden game. Like I would hate to see it. I don't want
uh,
them to ruin that series.
yeah, from some of the things I've seen, they say that it's Madden. They've taken like people from the Madden team
Mhm.
to do
Oh,
the
God.
NCAA instead of bringing up whoever was on the NCAA game, because NCAA was always like a step or two ahead of Madden with everything, physics, gameplay, and everything.
Now, certainly you've seen the facilities by now. Maybe y'all move in to the new facilities already, but what are your thoughts on it?
We haven't moved in yet. I think we're gonna move in after spring ball.
Mm,
But so we got to see it. I want to say about a month, month and a half ago, maybe 2 months. Coach Hart took us through, just kind of like giving us a rough idea. They were still doing a little bit of construction on it and whatnot, but it is nice. It's clean. Uh, the, with the whole setup, how they have everything, everything's co-located for football players instead of us having to leave this building to go over to this building to walk around to go outside to another. So it's just convenient, and then everything's just centrally located for the football players. And there's supposed to be a lot more like leisure stuff for us to do there and just kind of like chill.
and yeah, I know y'all are excited to move into it, right? I think, like, some players say like they don't really the facilities don't really matter to them. It is what it is, but it has to be a bonus just to be rewarded for your hard work on the field. Like just to relax in the players' lounge with the TVs, with the Xboxes and the PlayStations and the barbers and everything like that. I'm pretty sure it's a nice little bonus to have for you guys.
Yeah, it's nice to like have that just even in your like back of your mind, just like, hey, after this I can kind of just chill a little bit and whatnot. So and nice to see the upgrade, especially with it being an HBCU, and it's nice. Like in the video where they had the lights and everything,
Uh,
like under lights and whatnot, I was like, that's hard. That
yeah, that's legit for real.
yeah.
Um, so what's your favorite experience about an HBCU? Like during your free time, what do you love about it?
Uh, I would say how welcoming everybody is. It's like I can be walking down the plaza, like going to the library or going to the J store or whatever, or going to class, and like you smile and say hi, and everybody's just happy. Like haven't got any bad uh, experiences, I guess you could say. Um, and then the other favorite experiences, I guess, like the culture, especially at like the football games, because
Mhm.
you can go to any other school and they have like what is it, Penn State, they'll sing like the Sweet Caroline or whatever,
Yeah.
or like Wisconsin and stuff like that. But like here, it's not just one song. There's multiple songs that everybody's singing, everybody's getting live to dancing. You got each frat up in the stands doing their line step, just
Mhm.
everything. It's just the atmosphere is you can't explain it. Like you just have to be there for it. It is so much better. Especially at homecoming, like that was it was awesome.
I love it. I love it, man. For me, it's the band. Like I love Sonic Boom, right? Like
Oh,
the more I know about them, bro, they are legit, man. I absolutely love the
Sonic Boom and the what is it, J sets?
band. Yeah, the J sets, yeah.
Them getting
So
things going on, like it's yeah. And I
mhm,
like the battle of the bands too. That's another thing.
right. No, I heard about that. You suited up for games last year.
Yep.
Yeah. So what what was your favorite atmosphere? Like what was it, the Southern game? Maybe it was homecoming, maybe it was the SWAC championship. Like those were pretty intense atmospheres. For you, which game did it for you?
Uh it would be close between obviously homecoming and the Southern game. I would say the Southern game a little more just because it was that hostile environment,
Mhm.
and it's just and it was like so much like closer of a game, and
Mhm.
it's just like the atmosphere just set everything, and Shiloh picking it off
To end it.
in the
Yeah.
game, and before that, we were down. Shador drives down the field, hits Malachi. It's just being in a hostile environment, and you're walking to and from the locker rooms, and you're surrounded by not only your fans but Southern's fans, and they're all just talking at you, and it's just like, all right, well, we'll see who gets the dub out of this, and we came out.
Love it. So the season, the schedule has came out for next season. And I know you've seen it. Are you excited? Are you most excited for that game again, or is it another game that really gets you going that you just can't wait to play?
Southern, that I think that one, and then Grambling. Grambling.
What? Why Grambling?
Just because, like, I've been following a lot of recruiting with
Mm,
like all the schools and whatnot. I've seen a lot
right.
of uh, talent going there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I, I I think they're going to be decent.
Mm.
So I want to see that game.
Oh, I love it, man. So we talked about all of those things. Do you have any statistical goals for next season, personally?
Personally, statistical, I wouldn't say like I chase like sacks, tackles, or anything like that. My thing is just uh, play more, be involved more. Because I'm a team player. If I have to fill a gap to push it out to uh, whoever's at other linebacker and they make the play or the safety, like I'm about my assignment. I'm not about chasing these goals of tackles per game or anything like that. So whatever I have to do to get the job done and just be on the field.
So when your time is up at JSU, whenever that is for you, what are your plans afterwards?
So I want to be a coach. I want to get into coaching football, just because the way football can alter a young man's life. Like I don't come from the greatest background, but and I know a lot of other guys don't also, but just that little bit of help, just going to school and having that foundation, because having football as a foundation to build on top of, and I definitely can see how in life it makes things more structured. It can help somebody along the way. So like you could come from the worst background, and as long as you got some sort of help, and if that's my way of helping, that's why I want to get into coaching.
Is there any level that you would prefer to coach at? Little league, middle school, high school?
College. I want to say college, just because college or high school. And when I say high school, I'm talking like something like an IMG or something like where you can do recruiting and bring kids in. Just because I like the idea of building a program off of what you and your staff can bring to the table, and not be going like to some Power Five school or anything like that. Um, because like even on NCAA, I would pick like a crappy team
Me
and then
too. Yeah, that's the mentality. Just make them into a powerhouse.
yep. So that's just like my mindset, and like I said, it's why be a part of something that's already good or great when you can build it from the bottom up. So
Mm, I love that actually. And what do you hope to accomplish by the time you're done at Jackson State?
just leave my mark, help out wherever I can, however I can, even in the community. I used to do a lot of community service, so uh, and then just be a part of the culture, be a part of the program, just change it, leave our mark on college football. So
Now, that I'm gonna open this up for the fans to ask any questions in the chat. I think we got like 163 people in here, and
oh
they've
wow,
already started. Yeah, but while they're doing that, right, there was one more question that I had that I forgot to ask you. So I want to know what's your favorite cadence to listen to, because like I had a friend back in college, on my freshman year of college, and he aspired to be in the Marines as well. I think he's in it now. And like he put me on the cadences. Like I just love listening to cadences in my free time. And my favorite is Rock Steady. Like that's mine. I love Rock Steady. So do you have a favorite cadence?
I wasn't like I really wasn't a big cadence person. Like I like drill in boot camp and whatnot. I didn't mind it just because the historical aspect of it being like showboating your best and whatnot. So I never really got into the drill aspect of it or like the drill songs. But I love the Marines hymn. Like I have like 3 different variations of the Marines hymn on my phone while I'm like mowing and whatnot, or working out, and randomly it'll come on. I'll start singing it right there, just out loud, just because it's a Marines hymn. So
Okay, and shout out to my boy HBCU Spotlight. He has a question for you. He says, "I'm a Marine. What was his MOS?" I don't know.
0341 infantry mortarman.
And can you because obviously, first of all, shout out to HBCU Spotlight. Y'all go subscribe to his channel. He is undoubtedly the best storyteller on YouTube when it comes to giving you the background of players and everything like that. So please, if you have not do so, subscribe to his channel already. But can you explain to me what an MOS is? I don't know.
So MOS is your job skill, and what it entails. Like you have things to support effort, or support. So like those will be your logistics. So food, ammo, fuel, uh, tents, living quarters, stuff like that. And then my job, infantry. Those are the guys who shoot things, blow things up, and those, yeah.
So we got a question from Mario wants to know who's the strongest on the team.
Strongest on the team. So we work out at different times. So it's like hard to see like offensive line, because O line and D line work out together. Linebackers, running backs, and tight ends and quarterbacks, we work out together. And then receivers, DBs, they work out together. So I think offensively, I want to say it's Jasper, but I'm not 100% on that. I just know like he's pretty strong in the weight room. Defensive line, I want to say it was True. LBs right now, Aubrey. Running backs, I really don't know. It might be Kevin May, maybe. And then, yeah, receivers and DBs, I have no clue.
Hey, well, Mario, there you go, bro. Boy, you got a lot of answers anyway. I don't think he can find that out on a later date with the running backs. But my boy Sonic Boom, shout out to Sonic Boom. He would like to know, where did he do basic, and did he ever consider playing for one of the academies?
So we don't call it basic; we call it boot camp. But I did boot camp at Paris Island. Did I ever consider playing one of for the academies? So General Skolenko, while I was playing in the Marine Corps, he was actually one of the big officers, higher ups, that were kind of pushing me to get my film together and try and play outside the Marine Corps, try to play ball. So and he recommended that I might try and play at the Naval Academy. But where I was at the time and my goals, I kind of wanted to get away from the military. And I know like once you go to academy and whatnot, you still have another 4 years of being a commissioned officer. So I wanted to have the freedom to choose if I wanted to be an officer or be a civilian. So had I gone to an academy, I would have had to do 4 years commissioned officer.
And guys, we got 177 people in here. Those likes better reflect that. Y'all, I don't even ask y'all to like the stream, but y'all better like the stream. Now, like the stream for your boy. Stella K wants to know, do you think your military background has helped you adjust to Coach Prime's mentality with wanting fast, smart, disciplined, focused, and character?
Yeah, we kind of talked about that earlier in the podcast, just about like what the Marine Corps, how it instilled like the discipline in me. And then obviously just coming here and having to be fast. Game is a lot faster. So things that help the game be faster is if you're smarter, knowing your playbook, knowing formations and whatnot, and then just having good character at the end of the day. Especially in the Marine Corps, I used to preach it to my guys all the time, is just be a good dude at the end of the day, just being a good person. So yeah, smart, tough, fast, discipline, and having character. It kind of rolls into one and made it smooth and easy for me.
All right, got a couple more questions. A couple more questions that we're gonna wrap it up. I ain't gonna keep them here all day now. Wellington Oaks would like to know: did you earn a CAR in your country? Would be hell of a story to tell in the locker room to all those youngins. I don't know I don't know what that is, but
So it's called a CAR, Combat Action Ribbon, and no, I did not earn a CAR in country. So what a CAR is when you are in a firefight with enemy, whoever it is at the time, and you receive contact and you give contact back.
so Sonic Boom wants to know favorite military movie.
Favorite military movie? Oh, We Were Soldiers, or I want to say American Sniper with Chris Kyle.
That was a really good movie. Really good movie. He deserved an award for that one. I don't know if he won one, but I think he deserved
Super
it.
got big for that movie too.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he got yoked.
Oh my goodness. Nah, 'cause, like, when I look at servicemen reacting to it, they were like, this is probably one of the most accurate movies we've seen, and I was just like, oh wow, because I was pretty impressed watching it.
I would say Jarhead might be one of the more accurate movies depicting like military life. It's a lot of hurry up and wait
Mm.
and stuff like that. So Jarhead was a pretty good depiction.
And then I see people saying, Full Metal Jacket, or Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump.
There's just so many. Full Metal Jacket, that's a good one. Yeah, Saving Private Ryan. There's too many, but personal favorites.
And I do have to say, I do have to give credit to where credit is due. Shout out to my boy Aaron Sanders. He is the one who started the Captain America thing for you under your social media. So if you see Aaron, like Aaron Sanders, no, that's him. He's the one who started that name.
Yeah. Always like it whenever I see it. He's been commenting Captain America on all of them. So.
And all right, so I'm gonna make this the last question. All right, Mario wants to know what is his favorite country that he's visited?
Favorite country I've visited. I want to say Tokyo, Japan, because when we went to Japan, we were stationed in Okinawa, but we went to Gatemba, which is like at the base of Mount Fuji. That's where we were like based. They have a base there, and we ended up giving some liberty to go out, and we went to Tokyo, and Tokyo was a blast. Just one, to get to Tokyo from Gatemba, like there's a series of trains you got to connect, and we're trying to read Japanese and follow the colored lines to get to Tokyo, and then getting to Tokyo, like it's just a different world, and but it was fun.
Hey, and I know I said that was gonna be the last question, but this one kind of intrigues me. Has anybody tried to get you to pledge?
So we were actually just talking about this Friday with the Aubrey. We were trying to like poke and prod at him, trying to get information out of him about certain fraternities and whatnot, but he wouldn't really budge and give information because it's a code, or I don't know the whole thing. But there's talks about it, and it's on the back of my mind.
Okay, hey, there you go. Hey, Donald, this has been a real pleasure, man. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast. I would definitely like to have you back on at some point during the season, after the season, so people can get to know your perspective on this past season this upcoming season that's going to happen. With that being said, do you have anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to say to the JSU fans? Now's your time.
First, I want to say thank you for having me on. Thanks for the opportunity to be able to get this information, get the JSU fans to kind of see who I am and I guess what I represent. We want to see you out there, Stephen. All right. But thank you to Jackson State for allowing me to be in the community, and just like all the love I've felt, just random people seeing me out in town, recognizing me. really love and appreciate it. And then I want to say thank you to obviously Coach Hart for bringing me in, Coach Prime for allowing me to stay on and everything, and then obviously my JSU Tigers, everything. Thank you. I love.
Yes, sir. Hey, so there y'all have it, man. This is Donald Turley, aka Captain America. All right. Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. More channel announcements to come on who we're gonna have on next and what we're gonna be talking about next. But until then, we out. Peace. Thank
Thank
y'all.
you.